Andrew Cherico here at the Philadelphia Sports Complex for the Sons of UCF. Behind me you can see Lincoln Financial Field, and to my other shoulder you can see Xfinity Mobile Arena, where the Knights travel to play against the UCLA Bruins in the first round of 64 of the NCAA March Madness Tournament. And welcome back to the final episode of this season's More Than the Box Score. At the beginning of this year, if you would have said the Knights would be going back to the big dance for the first time since 2019, you get the feeling majority of the fan base would be happy. But that wasn't the case this year. As the season grew longer, the expectations grew higher, especially after a special road trip where the Knights went and won a 2-game win streak, one against Utah, and then shocked the world against BYU. This team had expectations higher than anyone would have ever expected going back to the beginning of this year. But the Knights season officially concluded with a loss to UCLA, 75-71 in the first round of the tournament. And it kind of went back to the basics for the UCF Knights in this loss. They struggled with turnovers, struggled with free throws, and couldn't quite find their composure in this big game. For the Knights, this year overall, though, was a success. This team exceeded the expectations of what many saw in their future. But getting to speak with players after the game with special locker room access, we got to learn that this team had fight in and night out with this team. And especially in the tournament, they knew they wanted to give it their all, but they couldn't find a way to get it done.
The whole year, we just been relentless competitors. Like, we've been competing since the summer, just not getting complacent or satisfied. Like at where we were at, we just always wanted to get better. Every time, just keep getting better and better.
This game came down to the basics for UCF. After a strong start, they started to get plagued by turnovers, 11 in the first half. That's just way too hard for any team to overcome, especially in the round of 64 of March Madness, as well as them missing way too many free throws, going just 5 of 16 from the free throw line. That's 31%. That could have made a difference in what ended up being just a 4-point game.
I feel like we were just a little too anxious. I feel like we just all wanted it too much, and it bit us in the butt. Games like this, we only get one game. We would look at film and we'll be like, it's fixed. There's no redos. So of course, we're gonna look back and be like, I wish we had this possession back. We ultimately don't. We lost to a good basketball team.
They disrupted some of the things we wanted to do offensively. They were very active. They got a lot of deflections, and that led them out in the transition, and especially in the first half. I think we 11 turnovers. I think they had 14 points scored off of our turnovers in the first half, and that's a huge number. That definitely contributed to the deficit that we had at halftime. And so we really wanted to just settle in the second half and take care of the ball a little bit better, which I thought we did.
Jordan Burks was my X factor going into this game, and he showed up scoring 22 points and converting 6 3-pointers from downtown. But it was too little too late for the Knights, making a final push, led by Burks hitting a few threes late in the clutch. But it shows that they fought until the end.
I feel like first half we came out. We started good. We just didn't sustain it. So when we started to sustain it, they made their run. We turned it over, and they went on their little run. So
now that the 2025-2026 UCF men's basketball season has officially concluded, let's take a look back at some of the highlights and lowlights of this year. UCF, big year of ups and downs, roller coaster ride through and through. Think about the highlights, the big win against Kansas in the conference season in the beginning of the year. That's when you spoke with players like Themis Folks and Riley Kugel, even Johnny Dawkins. So that's when he knew this team could compete with the best of the best in arguably the best conference in college basketball. Then the lowlights, like going and finishing the season, losing 5 of their last 6 games. It's hard for any team to rebound from that. But, at the end, they made the big dance for the first time since 2019. So something had to go right as well. You can't forget the special season that guard Themis Folks had, breaking the single-season assist record just 1 year for his team and getting to gel with this Knights team. It's not like he had other years to kind of learn the system. He did that. He came in one offseason and did it in 1 year, which is a special talent. But now there's plenty of questions for next season. Is Coach Johnny Dawkins going to get a contract extension? He's made the NCAA tournament twice since he's been here in 10 years. And how much of this team is going to need to be rebuilt? We know last offseason this team was almost entirely rebuilt. But you think a couple names off the top of your head. Forward, Jordan Burks. Guard, Chris Johnson. Center, John Bull. all potential starters next season, but will UCF be able to retain them, or is it going to have to be another complete roster turnaround? And then lastly, I want to thank you all for tuning into this season of More Than the Box Score. This is something new that we introduced this year to give you a more analytical, deep dive look into my perspective of UCF men's basketball, more than just a simple recap, but gives you more than what the box sheet appears to show. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to this season's More Than the Box Score. And for the final episode, thank you for watching More Than the Box Score. For the Sons of UCF, I'm Andrew Cherico.